okay, I'd just like to introduce our last speaker, which is Dr. Oscar Berglund. He does research on protest and the criminalisation of protest, and he's also joint Vice-President of the UCU branch here in Bristol. So Oscar, take it away.
Thank you. So I'll take it down a bit to the local level, I thought. I've been thinking a lot about what we can do as a union on these issues. I've been thinking a lot about where we sit as staff and as a union in even talking about these issues in our workplace. I think organising this kind of events is good, great. Obviously, as you see, coming in, there are obstacles put in our way in trying to do so. There are other ways of doing it, like I organised with some colleagues a few months ago a talk by a colleague from Gaza, but in order to stay within the safe boundaries that was kind of internal to our staff and students within the school, all members of staff in my school received a little reminder 10 days ago saying, if you have any public events coming up, make sure you sit through the university academic freedom training. I have sat through that training. I don't know if others have done so. Basically, what we learned there is that academic freedom is limited to your area of expertise, so I'll try to stay within that now. But that freedom of expression is basically gives us more license to talk about things that we care about, but we must do so without being racist or misogynist or other things or other people thinking. So basically, there's a huge grey area, so I don't know what the value of sitting through that training as such is. But as what I want to get is that we need to break those silences, and that's an ongoing work that we can do as staff and students here at this university, and speak about the genocide and speak about what's going on and what we can all see. On to that, again, going back to what we can do as a union, we passed a motion, last year as a union branch. There's still things from there that we can push the university to do. I think in the union there was a feeling that there was maybe resistance within the union to do things. That resistance is officially not there anymore. As a union branch, we're really keen to do things and have conversations with university leadership on these issues. There's nobody in the room of the union branch that is resisting any such attempt. So please, if you have any ideas of what you would like us to ask the university to do, then we want that. And I think it's difficult to come up with specific asks of the university. I have some, but it's quite tricky. One of those is, so we know that legally, even within the UCU Congress, as James has told me about, basically every year wants to pass a academic boycott motion, or once gets passed, and then the lawyers say, actually, we can't encourage an academic boycott, a full academic boycott. So, as the university, as the UCU joint vice president, I can't encourage an academic boycott. But I looked at the BDS info that Eldon shared with me about what we can do as individuals, or what we are encouraged to do as individuals. And there I can already see, like as a journal editor, for example, I receive scripts, certainly from academics in Israeli universities, possibly with funding from bodies that would maybe qualify for us to be able to say, no, we're going to boycott this on grounds of along the sort of BDS lines. I have sent that to Judith Squires to comment on, to see where we would stand as individual academics if we were to follow those guidelines, and I'm awaiting response on that point. Lastly, much more to my area of academic expertise, we've seen, we saw last year protests coming up. We know that different those of you who have been here for longer than I will know that, you know, there's been different leaderships that have taken a different approach to protest activities taking place, particularly sort of direct action protests by students. The current VC's approach is not to speak to anybody currently engaged in direct action protest. What happened with the encampment was that they were basically brought to court, and there they were faced with the decision of, you know, do we try to crowdfund for the fees to defend ourselves? Well, that would, you know, detract from people should not be given money to us, right? They should be, if you want to give money, you should be given money to that are closer to Palestine. So that's obviously is a form of criminalization, right? The protesters here were criminalized in that, but in a kind of very hidden way, right? So University of Bristol will not want to bring in the security guards to evict student protesters. That's not the kind of university that this is, or the kind of relationship that they want with the student body or with protesters in what is a city that is pretty protesty. So they're obviously very aware of that, and will try to criminalize in other ways. So yeah, I thought that's where I would end my contribution. Thank you.